Original post, April 24, 2024. I, 21 mil, work at a store part-time while I'm attending classes. There is a total of 21 of us who work at this store, 13 girls, 8 guys, and we're all around the same age. We have a pretty good working atmosphere, no open hostility so far as I know, and everyone gets along well, and jokes around with everyone. Though I will say, the guys and girls do tend to stick together more. As for me, I'm fairly well liked by everyone. I try and be pleasant to everyone I work with because who needs an asshole coworker? Unfortunately, here's where things go bad. One of the guys who work with us, Chris 23 male, is dating one of the girls in the store, Ashley 21 female. Chris was apparently on her phone when he came across the girls' group chat. He said it was mostly girl talk, but he found a list ranking all of the guys in the store by their hotness. He had a laugh about it and screenshotted it to send to our group chat. Everyone saw it and had a laugh at the rankings. The guy at the top, Chad 22 mil, kept sending crown emojis. Then everyone noticed I wasn't there. I didn't look at the chat till later since I was with my parents at the time and had it on mute. When I saw I wasn't on the list, it was like I was slapped across the face. And the worst part of this? The list was out of 10, and they included the 3 delivery guys who drop off stuff and some of the girls flirt with. This crushed me, in a way I don't think I've ever been crushed before. It's like, damn, I'm that much of a hideous monster that I'm not worthy of being ranked. I spent the rest of my day being miserable, and not talking to anyone. When I wasn't responding to the chat, the guys all tried to hit me up individually, but I didn't respond. I looked into the chat and the guys were starting to be mad on my behalf, which I definitely didn't want. I decided to call in sick the next day, and when I didn't show up, apparently it all came out into the open. The girls at the store started messaging me, apologizing to me, and making all kinds of excuses. Quite frankly, I didn't care. I decided to face the music the next day and suck it up at work. When I walked into work, the atmosphere was a lot more tense than it usually was. Becky 23 female, who is the assistant manager and was on the group chat, pulled me to the side and asked if we could talk. I said okay. She apologized on behalf of everyone in the chat and said that the list was not serious. It was girl talk, and not meant to be seen outside the chat. She said that everyone, especially the women at the store, like me for far more valuable things than simply how I look, and that if it were a list of nicest guys in the store, I'd be number 1. I couldn't help but feel like this was damage control and being friend-zoned all in one motion. I said thank you, but I'm past it and I don't want anyone's pity, and I went about my day. Of course, I did end up getting that pity with a lot of the guys coming over to talk to me, and some of the girls as well. I got so fed up that I went to the manager and asked to go home early. She agreed because she kind of knew what was going on. This was all about 5 days ago, and since then everyone at the store has been trying to get me to talk, but I haven't gone back. I don't want pity and I don't want sympathy. If they think I'm ugly, then fine, but don't try and justify it, or make me feel better about it. The reason I'm here is because I need advice on how to navigate the situation at my job and with my friends. How do I tell everyone to basically leave me alone and not pity me? Because honestly, I'm leaning towards just quitting. Edit. Hey everyone, I'm reading your comments and I thank everyone for their input, the tough love and all. I just wanted to pop in here and say one thing. I didn't feel entitled to them thinking I was hot. I'm not a nice guy or an incel. The reason I was upset is because them leaving me off the list for relative strangers felt pretty cruel and messed up. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I guess it sucks I'm not attractive to them, but being left off entirely felt like a step too far. Relevant comments. Comment 1. So sorry that happened to you op. I hope those girls all get a reprimand of some kind. That was not okay and HR should have been involved. In all seriousness, your looks do not dictate who you are or your value. Without seeing a photo, no one else can judge either. So let's make a new list. 1. You're friendly and open to valued communication. 2. You have handled your emotions well and are empathetic. 3. You're clearly working and driven. 4. You set a boundary and stuck to it. You're a good human. That's pretty top-notch in my book. Looks fade, nasty dispositions usually don't. OP. Wow, okay, seriously thank you. This really got to me. You have a way with words, friend. I hope someone makes your day like you made mine. Comment 2. Rooting for you, kid. I am actually ugly and have always been left out of all those kinds of lists and discussions. It sucks, it's hard. But you're smart and strong. Hope you find a kinder workplace. OP. I don't mean this in an empty, nice way, but you're not ugly, friend. The world just doesn't see your beauty. I hope you find your peace. Comment 3. That sucks. The guy who was at the top was named Chad? That's almost too perfectly coincidental to be real. There's nothing left to do except quit and find a new job and forget any of those people existed. OP. I've seen this a couple times now, it's just a fake name lol. As in he's a Chad for being at the top of the list. Update 1, April 29, 2024. Hey everyone, I'm back and boy do I have an update for you. I can't believe this situation exploded so much. There was a fight, arrests and I think someone might be getting divorced. Okay, not really. People wanted to know how I was doing, so I decided I'd just make an update. I just wanted to clear up a few things. First, I didn't care necessarily if they found me ugly or whatever, I just felt like being left off the list was a deliberate slap in the face. I didn't, or don't feel entitled to anything. Next, the manager of the store Barb, was not involved in the group chat in any way. She's a 38-year-old married woman with 2 kids who is far too busy trying to get us to stop smoking weed behind the store on our breaks. What I meant to say is that she was made aware of the situation after it was brought to her attention. Third, I wasn't aware of the list right away, I was with my parents and wasn't paying attention to the chat. Now, after reading the comments on the first thread, I decided that while I could be upset that I was deemed unattractive, I probably shouldn't care as much as I did. I kind of wanted to discover why not being on the list hurt me so much, so I took my sister's advice and will be seeking a therapist. Funny enough, my grandpa has a saying that came to mind when reading the comments in the first thread. Whenever my dad or his brothers and sisters would be upset about something, my grandpa would tell them, "I didn't get wounded in the Yadrong Valley so you could sit there and cry about X." The X could be anything, the point is he was telling them to toughen up. It became a joke among my aunts and uncles that passed down to my cousins. So I could hear my grandpa telling me in my head, "I didn't get wounded in the Yadrong Valley so you could sit there and cry about some girls thinking you're ugly." And that got me up a bit. I was still feeling kind of crappy, but I decided to put on a brave face and tell my manager I'd come into work the next day after posting the thread. As soon as I walked in, the manager took me to her office and said the owner of the store wanted to see me. I wasn't really worried since I had a good relationship with Carl, who was the owner. Carl told me he heard about the story and he was sorry about everything. He said the list was childish and unprofessional and he was sorry I had to take time off to deal with it. He said the girls all got a strong reprimand and a stern warning that this wouldn't be tolerated in the future. He also suspended Becky because he said she should not have been in the chat to begin with and if she was, she should have stopped the list stuff. He also emphasized that he told everyone that he hadn't talked to me yet, and that he wasn't punishing anyone because I asked for it. He also said he'd pay me for the shifts I missed as a bit of compensation for the mental distress. I thanked him and told him I was over it pretty much right away. I just hated having everyone think I needed coddling and wanted everything to cool down. With that, we shook hands, and I started my day. Everyone welcomed me back, and I said hey to everyone. I went to my locker and found a letter slipped inside. It was a handwritten letter from all the girls. I'll summarize here because the list was long. In it, they apologized profusely for the chat and the list. They said that nothing was going to make it right, or make me believe them, but they wanted to say once again, the list was non-serious and meant to be some stupid fun. And no one was meant to see it. They said that they all loved me individually, that I was a good person and that makes me more attractive than most people who were considered hot. Interestingly, they said I was considered cute. Okay, then lol. I flagged down one of the girls on shift who I get along with really well, Sam 20 female, to tell the group that I accept their apology. I told her to tell them that I got over it pretty much right away, that I just took time off because I wanted the situation to die down, and that I didn't take anything personally. Also, I told her that I'm sorry that anyone got in trouble. I didn't talk to Barb or Carl about anything until today. I didn't want this to become an issue at all. Unfortunately, the guys made it an issue on my behalf. Sam apologized again and told me she'd tell everyone. And that's that. Sorry if this was not the explosive post you all were looking for. I just wanted to get this situation resolved as soon as possible and put it behind me so that I, and everyone else, can move on. I am thinking about not returning next semester however. So thanks all, I appreciate your comments and helping me get through this little episode in my life. Story 2, a girl accused me of plagiarism, and it backfired on her. Original post, April 25, 2024. I, 21 female, am in university studying journalism. This semester, we have a creative writing class. One assignment is a free piece. We can write about whatever we want as long as it's 1,500 words long and fictional. We have a forum to post drafts of our stories and receive feedback from classmates. I posted a rough first draft of my story a few days ago. It's about a distant future where a small group of humans live on Mars in a compound and believe they are alone in the universe, when in reality, they are subjects of an experiment. I know, very original, but I was lacking inspiration, and it was the first thing that popped into my mind. I received an email from one of my classmates. I do not know that girl. I've seen her in class but have never interacted with her. She called me out for plagiarizing her work and CC'd the lecturer. I checked out her work in the forum and the only resemblance was that it took place in the future and in space. I answered her email saying that she doesn't own the sci-fi genre and linked both of our stories in the response. We haven't heard from the lecturer yet, but she messaged me privately saying that I humiliated her in front of our lecturer and could get her penalized. Now I feel bad about it. I don't want her to not get her fair shot. Was I wrong for saying this with the lecturer in copy? Edit, to answer some questions. 1. No, I did not look at her draft before writing mine. I never look at the forum before drafting because 1. I don't want to be influenced. 2. A lot of people are much better writers than I am, and I don't want to feel discouraged. 2. I didn't involve the lecturer. I answered her email in which he was already CC'd. 3. The punishment for plagiarism is expulsion with academic penalty. Our university also uses an anti-plagiarism software to compare our papers with existing material. Hope this clarifies a few things. Relevant comments. Comment 1. She gets the lecturer involved and then complains that your reply is also CC'd to them. What did she expect to happen? OP, I don't know. Maybe she genuinely thinks that I plagiarized her, and maybe I should apologize if that's the case. Honestly, if I believed someone had committed something as serious as plagiarism, I would also get the lecturer involved. Comment 2. Plagiarism is far more serious an issue than being embarrassed. OP, after seeing the responses, I know that all of you are right. Whether she actually believes I plagiarized her, or she was being malicious, plagiarism is a serious offense and it shouldn't be tossed around like that. Comment 3, you are not wrong, you just defend yourself with evidence. OP, hopefully the lecturer sees it that way too. Maybe the snarky wording was uncalled for. Comment 4, not the asshole. But as a journalist of near 40 years, I'm confused as to why you have an assignment to write fiction. OP, my degree is in communication and my major is journalism, but we still get about one class per semester that isn't directly journalism related. For example, last year, I had to take a creative communication class where we explored different creative/unorthodox ways to communicate to different audiences and for various purposes. I like the diversity in the degree as it allows us to expand our horizon and be more open-minded. Comment 5, you did nothing wrong. The way she attacked you and told on you to the lecturer makes me wonder if she copied the story from someone else's story and wanted to get ahead of it by trying to make it look like you stole her story. Just a thought. OP, I did not think of that. I don't think she would risk being expelled though, but that's an interesting train of thought. Update 1, same post, April 26, 2024. Thank you all for your messages. It made me realize that hurting her feelings is not nearly as bad as accusing someone of plagiarism. Thanks also to the people who made very funny comments. I haven't heard back from the lecturer, but I did receive another message from the girl. She told me that I ruined her life and never to contact her again or else. I haven't responded to either message but took some of your advice and screenshotted the conversation for proof in case I need it. I don't know what she meant by that, but I have a feeling I'll find out since our class together is on Monday. Update 2, April 29, 2024, 4 days from original post. Hello all. A few people asked for an update, so here it is. To summarize very quickly, we both wrote sci-fi stories for a creative writing class. They are nothing alike, except for the setting. She accused me of plagiarism in an email with our lecturer in copy and I answered with both of our stories linked saying she doesn't own the sci-fi genre. She replied to me privately saying that I embarrassed her with my comment. So, to the update. She sent me a private message a couple of days ago saying that I ruined her life and to never contact her again, or else. Yesterday was our class together and she wasn't there. However, I could see the two girls she usually sits and hangs out with giving me the stink eye. I figured she must have told them. After class, I went to see my professor and asked him about the email because, frankly, I was still worried. He said that he read both stories over the weekend and I have nothing to worry about. He also advised me to never have any other communication with my classmate. I, half jokingly and half seriously, told him I wasn't planning to, especially after she basically threatened me. He asked me what I was talking about, so I showed him the message. He asked that I send this to him and the ethics committee's email. I did so when I went home. I heard some chatter throughout the day and our entire class received an email about cheating and plagiarism. As it turns out, she plagiarized her story. Her sister had written the story when she was in university a few years back and she had stolen it and submitted it as her own, thinking no one would notice as it had been a certain number of years. Well, after the incident, our lecturer used the anti-plagiarism software on our stories and found out about her cheating. Her situation is now being assessed by the ethics committee. She could be expelled. I don't know why she flipped this on me. Maybe it was projection? Or she wanted someone else to take the blame? Anyway, I'm off the hook and will promptly forget about her. Thanks everyone for your kind and eye-opening comments and advice, it was a nice read. Hope y'all a wonderful life. Relevant comments. Comment 1, it baffles me to think what she was expecting when accusing you. Anyway, you did right and that is all that should matter to you. OP, I don't know. I've been thinking about it and the only thing that makes sense would be that she thought I would get blamed instead of her or I would get penalized for plagiarism and people would not notice hers. But even that is a stretch. Comment 2, anti-plagiarism software has been in use for more than a decade now, and it has become quite a powerful tool. Obviously, writing created for any specific university or college will be available for search. The majority of plagiarism at higher education institutions is committed by students submitting well-graded work from a student that previously took that class. It surprises me that any university student wouldn't know that. OP, honestly, I'm not even sure how it works. All I know is that when I submit any type of written work, I receive an automatic email telling me how much my work is similar to other material and percentage. Comment 3, I think that the cheating classmate checked out the rest of the class, saw that your story had a similar theme, panicked that the basic similarities would instigate a plagiarism investigation, and then tried to get out in front of it. Probably hoping that the teacher would see it was a baseless claim and leave it at that, therefore both stories would be deemed original. OP, that's another possibility. Some people in the comments have suggested others. I guess we'll never know. Comment 4, pure projection. Get your story out about how you were accused of plagiarism when she was the one doing it. You don't want her friends to control the narrative. OP, honestly, I don't really care about that. My social life at the university is pretty much non-existent. I almost exclusively hang out with people outside of the university. The ethics committee will decide her fate and that's the only opinion that matters. Comment 5, for future reference, whenever someone is loudly accusing you of doing something, you can bet money they are doing it. This happened with your plagiarism that she did. I read a lot of posts where relationship cheaters do the same thing. OP, yeah, some people suggested it on my original post but I didn't believe it given that the penalty is so high. I was wrong, some people are both malicious and stupid. Why did she think that accusing OP of plagiarism was going to beat the anti-plagiarism software? Like every college uses some sort of software for that, it's not a new thing. Also, I don't know if it would affect the ethics committee's decision, but I think harassing a student wouldn't make them more likely to not expel you. Anyway, that's it for this video, I hope you enjoyed, thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one.